All right, ladies and gentlemen, so today we're going to be getting into some real world percent problems dealing with tax, commission, fees, and other things like gratuity. So commission is a newer one for us, and commission is extra money earned for selling things. I'm going to say items to be a little bit more specific. So down here we have a bunch of different types of jobs that you might have, and believe it or not, most of these can be based on commission. Car sales, real estate sales, which is sales of homes and property and such, jewelry sales, clothing sales, furniture sales, and believe it or not, even grocery sales, not by the person who's checking you out, but by the wholesale person who's selling the items to the grocery store. All right, so let's get into these. So just as a reminder, our percent equation, which is part equals percent times whole. Okay, your part is your amount of commission or tax or tip or fee, whatever it is, and your whole is your amount of money. I'm going to say the original. Let's put it that. Or the amount sold. So this is the amount of money. All right, so let's see how this works. Silva earns 10% for each car sale he makes while working at a used car dealership. If he sells a used car for $2,000, what is his commission? And it tells us up here we're using our percent equation. So here's your percent. Here is your original, or the amount of what the item costs. So my equation, I'm looking for the part. How much is the commission? So X equals 0.10 times $2,000. So Silva earned $200 for selling that car. All right, Tyler's family stayed at a motel for 10 nights on their vacation. The hotel charged a 10% room tax per night. How much did they pay in room taxes if the room cost $200 per night? So I'm going to figure out how much it was for one night. So I'm looking for the part. X equals 0.10 times $200. So for each night, it was $20. So if they stayed for 10 nights, 20 times 10 is $200 in room fees. You're going to see the same answers over and over again. Eric bought a new computer and printer online. He had to pay 10% in shipping fees. So here's again another example of where we're using percents. The items totaled $2,000. How much did the shipping cost? So we're looking for the part. X equals 0.10 times $2,000. So the shipping cost $200, which is a lot for shipping, just saying. All right, let's try some more over here. Selena had her wedding rehearsal dinner at Salvatore's Grand Manor. The Manor's policy is that gratuity, which is another name for tip, is included in the bill for large parties. Her father said the food and service were exceptional, so he wanted to leave an extra 10% tip on the total amount of the bill. If the dinner bill was $2,000, how much money did her father leave as the extra tip? So again, we're looking for the part. So we have 0.10 times $2,000. So $200. So we just went through 4 examples where we're doing the same thing, but it was in 4 different types of situations. We had a tax, we had shipping fees, we had commission, and we had gratuity. But it's all done the same way. All right, now let's get into a little bit more complicated problem. The school board has approved the addition of a new sports team at your school. The athletic director ordered 30 team uniforms and sent the bill to the district for $2,990.50. The total included a 5% discount. The school needs to place another order for 2 more uniforms. The company said the discount will not apply because the discount only applies to orders of $1,000 or more. So how much will 2 uniforms cost? So I have to first figure out how much did 1 uniform cost. So we're kind of finding the unit rate. The problem is that this included a discount, but this new order won't. So I can't simply just divide by 30. I have to first figure out how much was it before the discount. So this is also combining what we worked on with markups and markdowns. This was a markdown. This is your part, because this is how much we paid. I'm looking for the whole. So I'm going to go back and use my markup, markdown formula. This was a markdown, so it was 1 minus 0.05 times x. So 2992.50 and 0.95x. To get x by itself, I have to divide, which means I am getting x is equal to $3,150. So that's how much the uniforms cost before the discount. Now I have to figure out how much was it for one uniform. So 3150 divided by 30 means each uniform was $105. So if I need 2 uniforms, I need 2 times $105, $210. Okay, let's try the next one. So over here, we have the school district does not have to pay the 8% sales tax on the purchase. Estimate the amount of sales tax the district saved. Explain how you arrived at your estimate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 8% and I'm going to round that up to 10% because that's a lot easier to deal with. And I'm going to take my $2,992.50 and I'm going to make that $3,000. So now I just need to do 10% of $3,000, which hopefully, based on the 4 examples you looked at before, we know that that's just moving the decimal, so it's approximately $300. All right, a student who loses a uniform must pay a fee equal to 75% of the school's cost of the uniform. For a uniform that costs the school $105, will the student owe more or less than $75 for the lost uniform? Explain how you use mental math. Well, I already know if it's 75% of 105, 75% of 100 would equal $75. So 75% of $105 has to be greater than 75. So the student will pay greater than $75. They didn't ask for it exactly, they just wanted to know how much that, if it was more or less. Write an equation to represent the proportional relationship between the school's cost of a uniform and the amount a student must pay for the lost uniform. So I'm going to say that S is for student, so the student cost is 0.75 times the district's cost. I'll use D. So the constant of proportionality is your percent. There is your constant of proportionality. Right? So we're combining the stuff that we did with proportional relationships with percents because they're proportional relationships. Right? It's done as a decimal. Okay. A taxpayer claims the new sports team caused his taxes to increase by 2%. Write an equation to show the relationship between the school taxes before and after the 2% increase. So an increase is a mark up, right? So our school taxes are after, I'm going to call them after, A, is equal to 1.02 times what they were before. So this is after, and you can use different variables. This is before, right? An increase means going back, that was 1 plus 0.02, because that was a mark up, so that's how I got the 1.02. All right, a little bit more, I don't want to say complicated, but definitely have to think, and we're trying to put a bunch of stuff together from the first part of the chapter and then this part of the chapter. Any questions, as always, bring them to class. Have a good night, guys.